This is the ORU Basketball Coaches Show, powered by Playfly. Hear from head coaches Corey Barnett and Sophie Anderson every week to get an inside scoop and perspective of Golden Eagle hoops. Now, here's your host, the voice of the Golden Eagles, Connor Clark.
Well, welcome back into another edition of the ORU Basketball Coaches Show here on Christmas week, Christmas edition of the Basketball Coaches Show. As we've got a big one for you here today at Waldo's Chicken, 71st and Yale. Come check us out. We're here until noon, as we'll be joined by both head coaches Corey Barnett and Sophie Anderson. And we'll kick things off with KB here on the ORU Basketball Coaches Show. Coach, thanks so much for the time, as always. Good to see you.
Yeah.
How was the weekend?
Oh, it was good. We had really good practices. We had two-a-day on Saturday, and guys brought it both times on Saturday. Had a great day yesterday. We've had 3 really good days of getting better, and now when he needs to overflow to the court tonight.
It's a big day. It's our first coaches show, I think, ever since I've been here on a game day. So we have a lot to talk about. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So right before the Christmas break, and of course, we'll get to that big game tonight against UT Arlington, and we'll spend the bulk of our time on that game. But let's recap that road trip just quickly here, and obviously a couple of hard-fought games against a couple of pretty good teams in Missouri State and TCU. Of course, obviously the Missouri State game ending just before the buzzer, kind of in heartbreaking fashion. But you and I talked about it post-TCU, just an overall theme of the road trip. It seems like the defense is really starting to turn a corner a little bit. You give up 63 and 72 in both of those games, and what have you been able to notice on that side of the ball? Because I know it's been a huge point of emphasis for your squad about, we got to hold teams to lesser points and just got to be more enforceable on that end of the floor.
Yeah, no, we're growing in a lot of areas that are really important to us in terms of how we're going to be successful. Just with our toughness, consistently hitting first, winning a lot of our space wars, our activity and urgency in gaps, our anticipation on drives, forcing wide drives, and a lot of the main areas that we've been talking about, we're having more and more carryover as these games go on. And the biggest thing for our guys is we just need to connect to defense. We need guys that are all on the same page and they're doing it consistently and they're flying around with a ton of passion. And I think from game one, I've been proud of how hard our guys play. It obviously ebbs and flows throughout the season in terms of the level that they think that they're playing as opposed to what is actually on the court. But I think in terms of playing hard, they're there. Now it's just got to be playing harder with the level of urgency that we need. And we saw that at times, but again, we're all pretty sick of losing. So it wasn't a road trip where we left it going moral victories. We were 0-2 in the road trip, and that's not where we want to be. And we want to take a huge step, obviously, starting tonight and then going into league play where we feel like we have the guys in the locker room, regardless of injuries or guys that we've lost or sicknesses or what's going on, those dudes need to be as connected as possible to where we take that next big step and believe it and then go out and execute at a high level.
Now, I feel like going forward, I mean, it's UT Arlington in this conference play. So you're really, not hesitating now when you talk about the Summit League and that Missouri State game. I feel like we're going to be in a lot of situations like that throughout the year moving forward.
No doubt.
When you talk about maybe some of the lessons that have been learned from that close finish, and obviously it's a tight game down the stretch, and you guys struggled offensively in the first half, really found it in the second half, especially with Ty and Ofri playing really, really well on that end of the floor. And what can you take away from that game and apply moving forward? Because, again, you're probably going to be in that situation a handful more times.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's about finding a way to get the last stop. Tulsa, obviously, we have a foul or that we had control over, and then we have an offensive rebound tip-in that we lose in that we have control over. So both are within our control regardless of the situation, and it's finding ways to win that game and to get that one more stop that we need, and the connectivity and how our guys are approaching those possessions. We need to learn from the past and obviously grow in the future. So a lot of film breakdown from those close possessions, and even in the Florida Gulf Coast, that game turned on 1 or 2 possessions late, and mostly on the defensive end. And I think our guys have been stepping up, and we have a lot of guys with the clutch gene, whether that be Ty or Ofri or others who have had massive plays in late in games. But now we need the clutch gene with 5 different guys on the defensive end where we know how to get a stop and what it looks like to knuckle down when it's close and it's a 1-possession game.
Now, down the stretch in that Missouri State game, I mean, Ty kind of had that look in his eye, especially offensively. Scored 2 in the first half, scores 18 in the second. And especially down the stretch, too. I mean, obviously, you guys were feeding him the ball because why wouldn't you? You had the hot hand. And every time down the floor, he was in absolute attack mode. It didn't really matter what defense they threw at him. He was going to step into every shot he took with ultimate confidence. And how much did that, kind of drag the rest of the team with him? Because, when you see your leading scorer play with so much confidence in such a close game, that's got to, feed off the other guys as well.
Yeah, I mean, Ty, all throughout the offseason, he hit massive shots in practice. We do a lot of mini segments and 8-minute games in practices where we scrimmage, because I think that's the best way to learn. And he's done it time and time again in terms of being clutch down the stretch. But for him, it's him continuing to buy into what it looks like, the efficient way to score. And it's not going to get fouled. It's going to put a dude in the rim, and if you get fouled, great. And he has had a ton of growth of that over the last 2 weeks, and his ability to figure out how to score the ball in an efficient way that builds towards what we're trying to do offensively is growing in the right direction. Now we need to figure out how to maximize the rest of the guys' gravities, whether that be Connor or Jack or Ofri or Udo or Barron or Cal. All those guys need to continue to take those next steps, and all of them are different in different ways and need to figure out where are their spots, how do they hunt it, how do we get a great shot consistently. And when we figure that out, I think we're going to be really, really hard to guard on that end. And tonight's a massive step, because UTA is one of the best defenses we've played thus far.
It's a really interesting matchup with the UTA, and we'll get to that in just a moment. One more guy I want to highlight from that Missouri State game, of course, Ofri Neve hitting that massive shot with about 12 seconds left. And, I mean, he gives you guys 38 minutes. He gives you 18 and 7. And I know you guys have known each other for quite a while, and it just seems like even in those tense moments, he just brings a level of calmness on the court. I mean, he was totally under control, and that last possession was kind of turning into a little bit of a scramble. And then, of course, he hits the massive shot with a guy right in his grill, too. And it's just amazing the amount of, lack of pressure that he feels, it seems like, when he's out there on the court in those clutch situations.
Yeah, I mean, he's always been a calm, cool, collected character. So, that's what he's been his whole career that I've been around him. He's been in a lot of tight situations, obviously played in the Big 12, played for his country, has grown up around really good basketball with really good coaching. So then there isn't a moment that's too big for Ofri. And I think we trust who he is in every single moment on the court. And he's continuing to learn how to make guys around him better consistently. He's always been a player that makes guys around him better, but now it's about how do I push certain buttons with certain guys while also being the best version of myself. And he's a massive leader for us, and we need him to continue to grow into that role and to embrace it and to love it, and to help our team elevate to the next level that we need to get to.
We'll move on to UTA, and just want to shout this too. I feel like a common theme, but I mean, the 9 minutes that Barron Smith played, I thought were really, really valuable 9 minutes. I feel like we keep saying that about him.
Yeah, no, yeah. And I honestly, with the way Barron plays, he does everything that we ask of him, and he plays with an unbelievable amount of passion and joy. And so I need to maximize his minutes he can play shape-wise. And I think he helps our team in a lot of real ways. So I think he's going to take a major step here as we grow into the team that we need to be.
So looking at this UT Arlington team out of the WAC, they're 7-4 this year, 3-3 on the road. So they've had some success away from home, and they've played two opponents that you guys have already played as well. Most recently being, of course, Missouri State. They beat them 67-49, and then they also took care of Weber State on the road, 74-73, which I feel like is kind of unique when you have that much familiarity opponent-wise with a non-con team. When you look at the film and look back at those games too, if you have, what do you notice about them, and how can you attack and kind of take notes from the opponents you have seen in person to try and attack their style of play here tonight?
Yeah, KT's done a really good job. They didn't have the year that he won, obviously, last year in his first year. So I think he did a really good job of building in, bringing in the guys that fit his style and his system, and they're getting to what they want to get to. They are unbelievably athletic, 1 through 5. They play ridiculously hard, and they are a very good defensive team. They're going to protect the rim and drop their big all the way back and really lock off. They're one of the best at taking away three-point attempts, and not only taking away attempts, but taking away the three-point percentage through high-level contests. So it's going to be a game that's won around the rim with toughness, and it's going to be won in the paint with being able to play with the force and get downhill and getting them into multiple sides to where there is breakdowns on that second or third side. And the only way to do that is by handling pressure. And I thought we did that in the second half against Missouri State and didn't do a good enough job of it in the first half, which led to us not getting to where we needed to get to in terms of how our offense was for 40 minutes. So we need to learn from that and be able to come into tonight and know we can't wait for a half to figure out how we're attacking them. It's got to be right away, and whatever they bring, every game is different. You have to adjust to the game and have the answers to whatever questions are being asked by your opponent. And I think our guys are ready to adjust to whatever they bring, but they are who they are. They're a very tough, hard-minded, hard-playing team. So we know what it's going to look like. We got to be able to go out and execute our game plan right away.
It's really interesting, and you mentioned the way that they take away three-point attempts and lower opponents' percentages from out there, but it feels like that mixed with the amount of points they give up per game is almost kind of a mixture of what we saw with TCU and Missouri State on the road trip. They only allow 25.5% three-point rate of their opponents, which is top 5 in the entire country, and then they only give up 65 a game. And when you kind of notice that, too, and trend-wise as well, you just saw 2 teams that do that pretty well. So how do you carry that over into practice, of course, over the weekend, and then trying to attack that here tonight, especially from beyond the arc?
Yeah, I mean, just with the way they play, it's a lot of what we've been emphasizing, thankfully. So it's going to be how we roll, the pace that we roll with, the seeking physicality, wanting the physicality, and then going to win a lot of those space wars. And I have full trust in our guys that we have that within us because we've shown it. Obviously, we've shown it many different times. We just need to show it for 40 minutes, and a lot of it is how are you preparing for the game? What is your mindset? How are you getting a teammate ready for your game? How connected are you? What energy level are you bringing right from the tip? And that's where our guys need to take that jump. And because whether it be first half and then we drop off in the second half because of fatigue, or we don't bring in the first half and all of a sudden we figure it out and get in our flow in the second half, and now we're much better on the offensive or defensive side of the ball, we have to figure out how to bring it for 40 minutes. And for different guys, they have different, there's different buttons to push. So we're learning that as a staff. They're learning that as a team, and the teams that get connected and figure it out quicker, those are the teams that excel at the top.
It is interesting, too, looking at their team stats this year. I mean, they don't allow very many three-pointers. They also don't shoot it very well themselves, right. Only 27.9% of the time. Their threes go, and they're 55 of 197 on the year. Another really interesting note is their rebounding average. It's 38.9, but their average is +9, which I feel like is huge for not even averaging 40 rebounds a game. What do you notice about their play on the glass?
Yeah, they're one of the best rebound teams we've played. They in their 7 wins, they've won the rebounding battle 7 straight times. So that is what they do when they win the glass. It puts them in a really good position. So they do a great job boxing out, but they do an elite job at going to get it. And they have guys from 1 through 5. They have a lot of really good positional size and athleticism, and they bring a different level of edge and toughness to them. And they're going to be a team that we're going to need to bring a really good mindset for 40 to be able to have a chance to beat.
Yeah, the turnovers as well are pretty even for them. 14.8 a game that they turn the ball over. They force about 14 a game as well. And I thought you guys, especially in the second half against TCU, did a really nice job of taking care of the ball against one of the best defenses in the entire country. And how do you go about ball security against this team? Because, again, they do force a good amount of turnovers, but they also give it away a good amount of times.
Yeah, for us, it's just an individual and collective growth. So individually, I thought we've taken steps over the last week, and now it's just collective. And what I mean by that is different guys have different types of turnovers. So that I think our guys have taken strides at studying how they're turning the ball over and limiting those as much as possible. But on the collective side of it, we have a team have to work really hard to get open. There's 2 different guys in a turnover involved almost all the time. So it's how are you working to get open? How are you setting your cuts up? How are you getting into bodies? How are you fighting for every single catch? How are you meeting it with 2 hands? How are you throwing that pass with a strike with some zip on it? So we've made strides over the last few weeks with that. I think it's well within our control, but we need to keep moving in the right direction.
Yeah, some players to watch for them. Their leading scorer, Rayshon Seamster, averaging just over 15 a game and 6.5 rebounds, which does lead the team. So he leads the team in both of those major statistical categories. Marcel McCreary is right behind him, and he's played really well as of late, averaging 12.2 a game and then 4.8 rebounds. And he's been kind of on a streak of averaging double figures. And when you look at those 2 guys on the scouting report, I mean, what would you say are kind of the strongest points of their game? And how do you go about defending both of them and just, again, not trying to stop them necessarily, but limit them?
Yeah, you want to make them inefficient, and those are 2 players that get to their spots, and that's what makes them difficult to guard. A lot of their shots aren't high on the shot diet in terms of just open catch and shoot threes and going to finish layups to the rim. They do a lot in that in-between range, and they finish really well over too high hands. And so we got to be disciplined with fatiguing drives and having an end-of-drive discipline, and that's something that we've had growth in that we need to be able to bring tonight.
It's a really interesting percentage split when you look at this team, because they're very efficient inside the arc, or at least from the field, but I'm assuming most of it's from inside the arc, 46%, and then they're below 30% from three, and they're below 70% for the free throw line. And I know the eye test and the numbers test are two completely different things, but it's interesting to see how that comes about with, again, a team that, has had so much success this year, but it doesn't really seem like the percentages really back it up.
Yeah, I mean, they back it up on the defensive end just because they really, really, really guard. And then offensively, they've played a lot of high-level defenses. So I think the numbers can be a little bit noisy early on in the season, depending on who you played and the types of defenses you played. And then obviously, whether it be injuries or because they've had multiple guys out at different times, similar to how we've had it as we've ebbed and flowed throughout the season. And so I just think coach has done a really good job at getting his guys to the spots, and the next man has been up when they don't have their key guys. And overall, they've done an elite job at, regardless of what five they put out on the court, they're going to guard you, and they're going to guard you at a high level. And they're going to make you work defensively. So it doesn't always equate to great percentages or scoring the points per game that they may like, but they're gonna work hard for their shots and not settle. And those are the things you want to see in a great team, that they're working offensively to get an elite shot, and then to defensively you're miserable to play against. And he's done a really good job this year getting his guys to play that way for the however many 11, 12 games that they played in.
Now, I feel like this is something that we hear a lot from coaches all around the country this time of year. And of course, this is your guys' last game before the Christmas break, and of course, last game before conference play really starts. And how do you go about keeping your team sharp? Because, I mean, it's just human nature to be like, okay, this is our last game, then we get a break, a couple days off, yada, yada, yada. But of course, it's still a really big game for your squad. So as a coach, how do you go about kind of keeping everybody razor sharp? And we've seen some even Power 5 teams be like playing some closer games that maybe they should.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you and I are in the same wavelength. I think you're referring to the Huskers struggling with North Dakota last night.
Well, that and Michigan State.
Michigan State both. Yeah.
Huskers did pull away. I will say they won by 23.
They were down 2.5 though, right?
We didn't need to talk about
it. Okay,
but yeah.
No, it's 100% true. And I listened to probably way too many press conferences while I'm watching film, because I don't listen to announcers very often. But when I'm listening, like I listened to one of Hoiberg's, and he talked a lot about how, whether it was NBA or college, it's a hard game regardless. And we've had some very difficult games, and then we've had some successful ones prior to Christmas. So it's your maturity level of your team. And yeah, man, is it awesome for our guys that they get 3 days to go home and be with family? Heck yeah. Mm-hmm. But that's tomorrow. And all along the way, we've talked about we are a process-based program. It's about what's in front of us and how can we attack this day with max effort, max force, and max focus. And we have an awesome opportunity tonight against a really good basketball team to go compete for 40 minutes with our brothers, and that's what we're locked in on. Not travel plans, not what's happening tomorrow. None of that matters. That'll come tomorrow. The task at hand is what's in front of us today, and that's what we're focused on with everything that we have.
Now, you guys have played well at home, and you've had some really tightly contested games at home as well. Of course, Tulsa, I know it didn't end the way you guys wanted it to, but still phenomenal college basketball game. You get the huge comeback win against Montana State. And I mean, those are two good opponents. I mean, you look at what Tulsa's doing this year. They look like they're a tournament team right now. And then, of course, Montana State, one of the better teams in the Big Sky as well. So what has it been about playing at the Maybe for you guys this year? Of course, it's always nicer to play at home. You don't have to travel. You can sleep in your own bed, X, Y, and Z. And it just seems like that, no matter what's happening, you guys always have a chance. And clearly you guys have proven that on the floor as well.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you get to play at home in front of your home fans, and we obviously have incredible loyal fans who come, and they've supported us throughout. And so we love playing in the Maybe. We love playing in front of our fans. And so it gives you an advantage regardless of where you're at, but especially here in Tulsa and in the Maybe, especially when our students are there. So tonight they won't be, obviously, with the break. So we have a lot of. Tim does an incredible job at getting whether it be young kids or families, or he does a great job at connecting with the community to try and fill those seats up as much as possible to give us that environment that we need. And our guys just love playing in the Maybe. It's a special place. It's a historic place. It gives you a little extra edge knowing like, yeah, we're always honoring the three letters on our chest, but especially when you play at home with that in such a historic place that has had so many greats before us, we want to make sure that we're giving max effort and max focus on every single possession.
Now, how big is it mentally too? Because you guys played 2 games on the road, but you're realistically on the road for 4 days.
Yeah.
So, and that could turn into a pretty lengthy road trip. And you come home and you get that weekend off from games, of course, but you still practice pretty hard, and it just kind of a refresh mentally too. Of right now, you're back home, you got those road games out of the way, and not that you're kind of dreading them. Of course, a game's a game, but it's always nice to kind of flip that mental switch of like, all right, we're back home, and now we really get to reset, because after this game too, you could technically look at it as a brand new season.
Yeah, no, and the hard part for our guys, throughout, and I haven't even brought this up to them, but like because of where our league is at with the how few opponents we have, almost every single time we're playing a game, we're playing our third or fourth more game. Like tonight, that's their 12th game. It's our 15th. So they've had more breaks where they've been able to kind of study in on them. We're going to have that advantage in league play, and the rest of our league will as well. But that's key for us in year one of you have that whole week to really practice. You don't have 3 games in a week. You don't have two games with an off day, or it's time where you can really sit down with your squad and say, this is who we are. This is what we're building towards. Here's our habits. Here's our reps. Get in our flow. And I'm looking forward to that in league play. And obviously, coming off of a tough road trip and 2 games, we had an awesome weekend where we had the opportunity to get in the gym multiple times, be around each other, dive into the film, get back to where we need to get to mentally and physically and spiritually. And I think all those things are incredibly important to be able to build in, because when you're 18, 19, 20 years old, you don't always have the discipline to create your routine or what it looks like on the road, because every game is different and every road trip's different, though, in terms of what time you're traveling, what time you're waking up, and what time you get a shoot around time. And when you're at home, you know what it is. Like, we're going to meet at 2:30 for shoot around. We're going to be back at 5:30 ready to roll. And the night before, we're going to meet and do film at 8:30. Like, they know what their schedule is, and you can get accustomed to that and get your discipline in. This is when I'm getting my quiet time in. This is when I'm getting my mental prep in. This is when I'm getting my film in. And so being at home is massive. But as we move into league play, we'll have a lot more continuity where they'll be able to get into their rhythm, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I did want to ask you about that, because every time I look down and prepare for a game, but 9 times out of 10, you guys have played more games than your opponent. And of course, the tournament over Florida certainly boosts that up. And, some of the weeks where you mentioned you've had 3 games in a week, and not many mid-majors do that. And the type of advantage that A, it will create in conference play, and then B, just overall, I feel like it's given you an advantage in the non-con. I know the record isn't where you want it to be, but it maybe accelerates how fast you can learn about your team faster than, other opponents that you'll see in, January, February, and March.
Yeah, that's the hope. And obviously we played behind Denver in terms of second hardest schedule in our league. So we did that for a reason. We wanted our guys to be tested in a real way. We learned a lot. Every game as the head coach, I've learned a ton about our team, whether it be individually or collectively, or certain guys I can play a certain amount of minutes, certain guys I'm playing a little bit too long in stretches, certain guys I can play in late games and switching and coverages. And so there's a lot that you learn about your team. And every game, like I already mentioned, every game is requires something different. So as a coach and then as a group, we have to continue to learn each other of, okay, this is what is required tonight. How do we go out and execute that in the best way we possibly can with an unbelievable amount of passion and effort. And I think our guys are learning that as they go here, what that looks like, and having 15 non-conference opportunities to really learn it in a game setting, 40 minutes under the lights, home, away, neutral. It was an awesome opportunity that we wanted to put our team through. We knew it would be hard. We very much did. And are we happy with 5 and 9? No, we're not at all. That's not where we want to be. It's not where we think we should be. So we have to figure out what that different level of edge is, and we need the reps in the gym to remove the doubt, and then we need to really make sure that we have the level of urgency and passion that we need each and every opportunity that we get in front of us to be able to compete to win the game at hand.
Obviously, winning is hard, and learning how to win is hard. And you go back all the way to the Kennesaw State game, and that's something we talked about in the post game was, did that game kind of teach your group how to win, especially in a close game as well? And maybe at some points during the season, you got to kind of revisit of that feeling, of how you were able to get over that hump. And when things don't go your way, and I think this road trip is a perfect example, when you lose 2 straight away from home, how do you compartmentalize, the fact of, hey, we've done this before. We know how to do this.
Right.
How do we do it again?
Right. Yeah. I mean, like I said, it creates a different level of edge anytime that you lose. Your senses are heightened. You listen a little bit better. You get a little bit more humbled, with a little bit more urgency and involved in that humbleness. And so I think each and every opportunity is something that needs to be used. So this weekend was a great opportunity to use that when in multiple practices, multiple film sessions, a lot of different individual and collective meetings. And so I think our guys have had a great weekend of growing and figuring out what it looks like to compete at the level we need to compete to win. And man, the thing I will tell you, I love the fact that we have 14 guys who are very unhappy with our last road trip. Like, there isn't any complacency. There's not any moral victories. That's not what we look for. That's not what we're going to allow, not only as a staff, but as a team. Like, I met with our leadership council yesterday, and all three of them repeated the exact same thing back. Like, there's not a single person in there who is satisfied in any way. So that is one of the biggest keys, is you have to really, really hate losing, and know what it looks like to compete at the level you need to win. And we have a group that's ready to do that.
And we'll get you out of here on this. From your point of view, what are some of the biggest keys to success here tonight?
To be honest with you, on the offensive end, it's just about getting the ball moving side to side, getting to that third side, making sure we're attacking the paint we need to, and then obviously win a lot of that toughness and space wars on both ends. And this is a very tough physical team. It's a team that prides himself on that, so it will not be an easy task whatsoever. It's one of the best teams we've played. So again, another awesome opportunity for us to lace it up and go out together and go to war. We've competed with some of the best on our schedule, and now it's time to try and do it again. Obviously, and maybe at 7 p.m. tonight.
Well, it should be a good one here tonight. Hopefully you didn't give Coach Saxon too hard of a time after OU's big loss on Friday.
I can't confirm or deny whether I did or not. He may or may not.
I was looking forward to you guys, kind of bashing heads all week.
Yeah, I was too. I mean, the Hoosiers were there ready, but unfortunately it's Alabama who's in front of us because Saxon didn't hold his end of the bargain.
I know. We got to have a word with Sax. That's pretty much his fault for them losing.
Couldn't agree more.
I mean, it's kind of ridiculous, but we digress anyway.
We do.
Big one against Alabama. What is it? Is that on New Year's Day?
It is.
New Year's Eve.
I think it's New Year's Eve, and it's in the Rose Bowl in California. So there's gonna be a lot of red in that stadium.
Oh yeah, that's a good trip. That's a good excuse to go from Indiana to California in January.
It's a great excuse.
It's a phenomenal excuse.
It is.
So, Coach, thanks so much for the time as always. Good luck tonight with your squad.
You.
We'll talk to you after the game as always, and should be a good one at the Maybe. So come out, support. 7:00 tip. You can catch us on the ORU Sports Network at 6:50 for pregame coverage as well. So that's Coach Corey Barnett. We'll talk with Sophie Anderson after the break. This is the ORU Basketball Coaches Show live from Waldo's Chicken at 71st and Yale. We'll be back in a moment.
Life comes at you fast, whether it's starting a family, making the most out of your side hustle, or anything else financial. Sometimes you just need to talk to someone. That's what we do. We're TTCU Federal Credit Union, and we're here to get you where you want to go. Our money experts can help build your credit, figure out your budgets, and even help plan your savings goals. Together, we've got this. TTCU Federal Credit Union. Life is better in balance.
At Bill Knight Ford, we're proud to bring you the power of four with Bill Knight Ford of Tulsa, Stillwater, Bartlesville, and now our all-new location in Veneta. You have access to a wider selection of vehicles, more service options, and a dedicated team.
Get the 2025 F-150 Super Crew for just $48,990 or the 2025 Explorer for just $43,660, both with 3.9% financing.
Visit any of our four locations to experience the power of four for yourself or shop BillKnightAuto.com today.
WAC from Ford Credit.
Basketball season is here, so let racers make sure you're on the ball for entertaining. Make it easy with our ready-to-grill items, like our jalapeno poppers and kebabs. We have fan favorites, like our sandwich trays from the deli, or team-themed cakes and cupcakes in the bakery. Racers, the official grocery store of the ORU Golden Eagles.
At Grubbs Acura of Tulsa, we don't just sell cars, we stand behind them. That's why we offer a lifetime warranty on every new Acura and select pre-owned vehicles. Drive with confidence, knowing your investment is protected for the long haul. Stop by Grubbs Acura of Tulsa today. Luxury you can trust, backed for life.
At Bill Knight Ford, we're proud to bring you the power of 4 with Bill Knight Ford of Tulsa, Stillwater, Bartlesville, and now our all-new location in Veneta. You have access to a wider selection of vehicles, more service options, and a dedicated team.
Get the 2025 F-150 Super Crew for just $48,990 or the 2025 Explorer for just $43,660, both with 3.9% financing.
Visit any of our 4 locations to experience the power of 4 for yourself or shop BillKnightAuto.com today.
WAC. Looking for delicious fried and rotisserie chicken? Look no further than Waldo's Chicken. Our Southern-style scratch-made sides are the perfect complement to our mouth-watering chicken. With dine-in, drive-through, and catering options, we got you covered for all occasions. Let us handle your next fundraising event, team lunch, or family gathering with our full-service catering options. Enjoy all your favorite sports with lots of TVs, and don't miss out on our daily food and drink specials each week. With 2 convenient locations at Broken Arrow's Tiger Hill Plaza and 71st and Yale. Waldo's Chicken, the best fried chicken in Oklahoma.
This is number 5, Connor Down. You're listening to Golden Eagle Basketball on ORU Sports Network.
Family owned and operated since 1969, the Don Thornton Automotive Group is driven to make car buying easy and your ownership experience exceptional. Tulsa's choice for performance and luxury. Audi Tulsa, Don Thornton Cadillac, Land Rover Tulsa, Don Thornton Volkswagen, and Lexus of Tulsa. Visit any of their dealerships on Memorial in Midtown or online at DonThorntonAuto.com.
This is the ORU Basketball Coaches Show, powered by Playfly. Hear from head coaches Corey Barnett and Sophie Anderson every week to get an inside scoop and perspective of Golden Eagle hoops. Now, here's your host, the voice of the Golden Eagles, Connor Clark.
Welcome back into Waldo's Chicken on Yale at 71st. ORU Basketball Coaches Show rolls on here on a sunny and warm Monday in December, as it is essentially short sleeves weather, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, it's pretty rare for a week of Christmas, but we're rolling on here. Coach Sophie Barnett. Sylvie Anderson. I don't know. It's Monday.
I'll be a Barnett. That's my cousin.
That's fine. You're Corey Barnett on the stream right now. That's why I said that.
That's why.
But anyway,
I'm not lucky enough to be Coach.
We're here with Sophie Anderson, and glad to talk with her as always. Coach, thanks so much for the time. I really appreciate it, and we got a lot to talk about. But first of all, let's talk about our little adventure on the way back from the DFW area late on Thursday night into the early hours of Friday morning. Had a little bit of bus issues, and you joined the party.
Yeah. Wow. We are driving, and I don't know, I guess we were an hour, maybe 2 hours in, and our bus driver pulls over, like he's starting to pull off, and we're thinking, okay, just he needs to use the restroom and stop halfway. And we wanted to go to Buc-ee's on the way home. And he was adamant about not going to Buc-ee's, but
I don't blame him, though.
It's a God thing, though.
You guys probably would have been there for like an hour.
Well, that too. But it was a God thing, because if we would have went to Buc-ee's, we would have been on a different route. Than y'all, so it wouldn't have worked out. So story is, we are pulling off. We're thinking, everyone's kind of fidgeting around and looking like, why are we stopping? Okay, we're going to go to the restroom. He says, we have a water issue in the back. And we're all like, okay, so maybe restroom. So we all jump off, use the restroom, and he said it could be a while. There was a hose that busted in the back. So he took off that back panel, and the whole thing was full of water. So I text Coach KB, which we text all the time as far, game and just checking in. That's like my brother. And I was like, hey, we got bus issues. He's like, no way, you're kidding. And I'm like, no, not joking. And he was like, where are you? And I was like, well, we're on a different path, because I thought y'all went 35 Fort Worth and we went 35 Dallas. So I thought we would meet, but we went on different paths to meet. And he said, send me your location. I was like, no way, y'all are coming this way. And luckily enough, y'all were at that time maybe 37 minutes from us, and y'all stopped and rescued us. Y'all saved the day. Like, we had to jump on your bus, and luckily we didn't have the whole team.
Yes, you guys fit.
Yes, a lot of our girls went home with their parents because of the break, and either they jumped on planes from DFW because it was cheaper and easier, and we were already there, or parents came to get them. And we were down to, I believe, 4 that jumped on, and then our staff. So thank God we wouldn't have fit, and luggage and all that stuff wouldn't have worked. And thank God y'all didn't fly back.
Yeah,
you know, so that was a blessing as well.
It did work out in kind of a mysterious way. And
yeah.
Coach moved back to where I was sitting. Like, I was on the right side of the bus. He moves over to the left side of the bus, and he's like talking about like people getting on the bus. I was like, "What do you mean?" And keep in mind, it's like 1 a.m, so I'm half asleep.
Exactly.
I've been watching Netflix for the last 3.5 hours on the bus, and then all of a sudden we stop, and I was like, "Oh, that's what that means."
Yeah.
And all you guys are standing outside the bus, but
we're waiting.
I'm glad it ended up working out, and we all got to go back together, which was honestly kind of fun because, of course, you guys are coming off of a pretty miraculous win, which we'll talk about, but it definitely kind of livened up. It was very quiet before you guys got on.
When you can definitely tell there's a women's program and a men's program because our girls, they talk nonstop and they are laughing and giggling and no telling what they're talking about, but you could definitely tell. And I think the guys started to come alive because we got on the bus as well. But man, thank y'all so much for saving the day. We checked on Roger, our bus driver, and he didn't get home till like 5:30, 5:45 in the morning. So we could have been stranded, no heat because he couldn't turn on the bus.
Right.
So no heat on the, not really side of the road. We were definitely at a gas station, but still it could have been pretty bad.
Well, shout out Roger. Hopefully he gets a Christmas bonus coming his way for that. But I'm glad it all ended up working out. And of course, you guys are coming back from a road trip just like the men, and you guys played at Wichita, and then you come down to the DFW area to play North Texas in a game that was, I know, the cliche tale of two halves, but it really was. And you guys pull off an amazing comeback down 23 at one point, and you find a way to beat a pretty solid American Conference opponent. And I mean, of course, I didn't get to watch any of the game because you guys played an hour before we did, but it was, I was keeping track of the score, and I saw the score at halftime. And then I think Max tapped me on the shoulder or something, or texted me, and he's like, the women ended up winning. I was like, you're joking. And then I looked at the score. I was like, oh, my goodness. So let's talk about it because I didn't get to witness any of it.
Wichita State first.
We can do that. We
can
do that.
Okay. So that just segues into North Texas. So I'll keep it short on that. But I just felt like, and we talked before on Wichita State, how not really streaky, but they were trying to figure it out. They were kind of on a roll, and
you called it.
Yeah, and I told you it could go either way. And us going up 9 at half, I look back, Connor, and I was like, we've never been up before on the road. So there's a lot of firsts for this team.
Right,
so there's a level of comfort, and I just don't feel like we responded really well in the second half. So I think that was the fuel, the redemption game that we needed to prepare us for North Texas. And it was almost a slap in the face, like, hey, you got to wake up and you got to play. And like I told them at half, like, you have to value a lead when you're on the road. You got to value it, period. But especially on the road, it's like gold. And I think that fuel helped us into North Texas. But man, you're talking about rallying, you're talking about fighting, and I don't know if I know I didn't realize we were down 23. I know we were down 17 going into, but there was a level of laser focused tunnel vision of, we're just going to chip away. We've been down before. Like, let's just chip away. And when that happened at the 9-minute mark of the third quarter, that's enough time. And our focus was to get the lead down to double digits going into the media of the third, and let's see where we were going into the fourth. And we're talking about maybe a 4-point game. Oh, that's all you need.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's all you need.
Right,
it's just you just need a little bit of light, a little bit of life, a little bit of hope. And I mean, we were fighting, and there was, they just took big shots. Defensively, we were rotating our bigs in, and we made adjustments. Man, our staff made adjustments down the stretch. Unbelievable adjustments, and we continue to do it from half, and that just caused it, along with the recipe of just relentless fight. And man, just so proud of them, really am.
I am glad you brought up the Wichita State game, because when you kind of throw all the halves together and kind of look at them as quarters, it's really interesting to see kind of the flow in which your team had, because again, you have a really great first half at Wichita, of course, it goes downhill in that second half. And then you kind of see that carry over a little bit in that first half against North Texas. And then it's the complete opposite end of the spectrum in the second half where, I mean, you guys just took complete charge of the game and, of course, ended up pulling out the 1-point win. And it was almost like you guys played like you were sick of it.
Yeah. Like we talked about before the game versus North Texas, the chip. We've talked about that since July, having a chip. And a chip could be something that could be used as an arrogance. It could be used as just a confidence thing. But we use that chip, and we were referring to our chips as we weren't good enough to be ... You shouldn't be here because of ... And that was our chip, but we flipped it to a positive in my perspective. And hopefully, the girls use that in that way as well, but as fuel. That was fuel that they needed to go out and compete. And I feel like we kind of start the game out just trying to get a feel, and sometimes allowing that feeling it out and just that cautiousness allows you to be in the whole 10 points, 17 points. And I think hopefully it's just a lot of unknowns, but going in a conference, there's a lot of repetition. There's a lot of, you play the same teams twice. There's, you do the same thing. It's Thursday, Saturday now. And I think our girls need that. I think they'll thrive in that environment. So I'm excited for them to kind of get that, that familiar, that routine, so that we know exactly what to do. And I think that's going to help them. And I think because of, hey, we've been down before. Hey, we've cut a lead before. We know how to fight back. It was a glimpse of, okay, we can do this,
right.
And I think that's what they did. But your fight, you got to make big shots. And I think everybody did. The energy level from the stands to the floor, to the bench, to the coaching staff, like just unbelievable. Great game.
I keep seeing that video of Anna's and one at some point in the second half on social media. And just the bench reaction kind of encapsulates what that second half was like for you guys, because you fight so hard to get back in the game, and then you see that ball kind of hang on the rim, what probably felt like forever, and then it finally drops, and you guys go nuts. And it's amazing what momentum can do for a team. And I think we saw that in full effect with you guys in that second half. And was that kind of the moment that turned everything for you guys, or from your perspective, was there a moment that kind of turned the tide?
I think it was a collective moment, but our culture words are energy, attitude, and grit. And we talked about that at the beginning, but we talk about momentum and money moves within our teams, and just the energy. Like, energy never dies. It just gets transformed and moved into other areas. But whether that's positive or negative, it's something that can infiltrate like a room, a court, a possession. And I felt like it was a building momentum from that third quarter on. And I just think we attacked that. We added that with our attitude and a little bit of grit. We were living out our culture words in that second half. And I think they felt it. They held on to it. And even our staff, like, it just was an unbelievable moment. And I look back, like, man, it still gives me chills. My heart still beats to see how the game shifted that way. But then on the other side, how the momentum started to shrink on the other side of the gym. And it's that same energy, but it was different energy on them. And when you tighten up like that, and that momentum, it takes over on both sides, and I just felt like we grew in that game. I felt like we've grown in December, like from November to December, there's been a ton of growth, and excited that we got that win going into break, because that's going to help us. But we have to start, I'm calling Oklahoma Wesleyan as part of our conference. We have to start off strong, and we can't go in cautiously. Our first 4 games are intense.
Yeah.
So
Summit League is no easy path for you guys, which is some of the talent that is within the league, and maybe gets overlooked at times. But when you're in it year after year, you know what's on the docket. But you mentioned the culture words, energy, attitude, and grit, and of course, I think that's a really good way to put it. The energy never goes away; it just kind of shifts into something different.
Right
now, at halftime, when things aren't going your way, I think the most important word out of those 3 is attitude, because I feel like the attitude can shape the grits that you guys had in that second half. What was the attitude of your team, whether that was, body language or whatever, because it's easy to,
quit,
be frustrated. It's easy to, quit. It's easy to, go out there and kind of go through the motions when things aren't going your way. But clearly your team did the exact opposite of that.
Well, and I mean, one thing that I've hung our hat on and that I told our girls that I've been so proud of them in the fact that they came back even through November. They never gave up. Each day we got our butts whooped. They showed up the next day to practice hungry, ready to fight, ready to learn, ready to get better. And that's what I love about this group, about this team, about our staff. There's no quit in us. There's only fight. But I think we went into half just on a mission to counter, on a mission to fix, on a mission to adjust, on a mission to pivot. So it wasn't ever oh, we're out of this game. I don't think we ever felt that. These are the adjustments that we're going to make in the second half, offensively and defensively. And we were able to do that throughout the whole second half, and they were able to respond. So that's when I say growth. And even, we talk about outcomes because that's our world, that's our profession. But what just the level of growth that our team has had in the month of December, because we've made some game time adjustments. And if you're not mature enough to handle that, that can tank. If you can't execute in value setting of screens, how to come off an on ball and read it, what you're looking for, what do we need to do for this possession? And when they adjust, we have to adjust right back. Can they execute that? And I felt like we've done that. I felt like our staff has been able to see things, but we went into half with another laser focus on we have to make adjustments.
Right.
These are the things we need to fix. And it was like 1 or 2 bullet points on both ends of the floor. But man, Connor, we came out, we executed, and it was just, unbelievable to watch. It really was.
Now, this is episode 7 of this coach's show, and I feel like in all 7 episodes, we've talked about your rotation and the size of it. And I'm officially going to declare it a nightmare to try and scout your team because
oh my gosh,
you placed 11 girls in that win. 10 of them scored.
Yeah.
I mean, that is really, really difficult to stop. 2 of them have 17 with Kaiten and Anna doing their thing. And those 2 have been mainstays, of course, especially in the scoring column. And I mean, then, you got 8 points, 7 points, 5 points, 5 points off the bench.
Yeah.
How do you go about guarding that? Because, again, you and I have talked at length about you're going to play so many players. You never know who's going to do what on any given night outside of probably, at this point in the season, Anna.
Yeah.
Because we know Jaylee's at the top of every scouting report.
Correct.
We know what Gentry can do from outside. And, of course, Kaiten Donnelly's, played phenomenal basketball as a true freshman as well. So I'm just putting it out there for the Summit League. Nightmare scouting report to put together.
Well, thank you. But honestly, I really do believe in each and every player that we have on our team. Like, I really do. And some nights I tell them all the time, maybe 1 or 2 won't play, or maybe 3 or 4 won't play. But the next night you could be the first name I call. I believe in them, and I hope they really, really know that. And it may just be 2 minutes. It may be 12 minutes. But all of those collective minutes, you just never know what that will turn into.
Right.
And I'm just a hoper. I'm a believer. I root for the underdog team, and I just know that there is there's something in all of them that they can bring to the team, and each night that could be different. And can't say that will be the same way going into conference. Can't say that it won't be. I just don't know, but I know that when their number is called, they're ready to go. And I hope that they really believe in themselves. That's what we've been instilling because we believe in them as a staff. So I'm excited that they've responded. They've stepped up, players off the bench, and just to see their growth. And man, I just keep knocking and chewing on that word growth. And that's a huge part of our pillars as well. That's our number 1 word, is growth. And I want them to be better women each month, better basketball players each month. And we've made resolutions for December. We didn't want to wait till January, and now we're going to up that in January and just keep trying to grow and keep trying to get better. And hopefully we do that collectively as a staff and as a team.
It's amazing in basketball how tight the margins of success are, because, of course, that game on Thursday kind of encapsulates that throughout the entire 20 minutes in that second half. And I mean, for perspective, I mean, our men's program is 7 points away from being 8-6, right? Mm-hmm. And then you guys have been in 2 one-possession games this year. You've won them both. Mm-hmm. What have you seen from your team execution-wise when you have to make that subtle adjustment, when you have to make this play down the stretch? Because, again, I mean, it could be a turnover, a rebound, a missed shot. I mean, it can be anything as small as that can turn a result of a game. And you guys have come out on the right side of that twice now, so clearly something is working.
We've been harping on details, being selfless. I mean, I think that's important. Yeah, they all know that they can take the shot and take a good shot, but we've really been harping on them about details, which is rebounds, blocking out, which is finishing at the free throw line, which is taking a good shot, which may mean a great shot, not always a good shot, which may mean I may be open, but if it's contested and I can make one more pass to my teammate who's wide open with nobody contesting them, that's the great shot. So just the details of the game and being able to grind, being able to speed it up when we needed to. And I felt like only thing we could possibly grow on is just having a better start. Because we always seem like we get in a hole, and I want them to be able to learn and grow into coming out and punching first and getting the lead and taking the lead and growing the lead. So I guess details would be the main thing, and I think that's the only way you're going to win tight games, take a lead, is doing the little bitty things that don't make the stat sheet, and that's what we've been harping on. What can you do for our team that don't make the stat sheet? Because that wins you big games, that wins you championships, deflections, tips on the ball, rotating early, talking on screens, knowing what we're in, just things like that. So I think that's what we've been focusing on, and we're starting to see the fruit of our labor.
I think I'm going to start a petition to make 50-50 balls an official stat in the box score.
We talked about that quite a bit.
I mean, because it's so important.
It really
about,
is.
That's again, it can completely turn a game.
Yeah, absolutely.
9 times out of 10, the team that wins the 50-50 margin is going to win.
That's a good point.
So, I think it should be a legitimate stat. I know that you guys will probably keep it unofficially. I know a lot of coaching staffs do, but it's just so important. And, again, you mentioned even making, the extra pass. The hockey assist doesn't show up in the box score for basketball, but sometimes that can be the biggest play down the stretch of a game.
Absolutely. And I think us working in that zone, you have to communicate, and rebounding out of a zone is one of the hardest things to do, So I felt like us playing zone, Connor, wild. I didn't think I would ever say that. We played zone probably 99% of the game. So that was wild for them to adjust to that and to be active in that, and to rebound out of that against, a really, really good team. Hats off to them. They have guards, they have post players, but we're talking, they start 2 6'4s. Monsters on the inside. Just very well coached. They execute their offense really well, and they do a really good job on the inside. And I just felt like we came out and did the little things, and the 50-50 balls helped us win the game in the zone. We got tips, we got steals, and we converted. That's the other thing. You got to convert out of them, especially when you're trying to get out of a hole.
Now let's take a quick look forward for you guys. You have the next 3 at home after the road trip, Oklahoma Wesleyan on the 29th, and then it is conference play time with the North Dakota schools, North Dakota State on New Year's Day and the North Dakota on the following Saturday, both at the Mabee Center. And when you take a look at, the beginning of your conference play slate, you play both the North Dakota schools and you play both South Dakota schools, and you get them on the road to start things off as well. And it feels like the next 3 games at home is a pretty large stretch for your school. And you mentioned, treating Oklahoma Wesleyan as if it is the first game of conference play.
Absolutely. Like you said, or we just said, our first 4 games are intense. 4 great programs. And South Dakota is not new to the conference. They've, coaching staff have been there. This is their 2nd year now, so they're doing some big things. You see a ton of highlights on them, so they're playing really, really well. North Dakota State, unbelievable. South Dakota State, unbelievable. So, and then North Dakota, same thing, just a solid program. So our first 4 games are going to be intense, and we have to go with the mindset of treating Oklahoma Wesleyan just like a conference game, and we're going to prep for it, and you're going to be prepared for it, and we're going to go out and try to execute. And also another really good program, and you can't take anything for granted, so you have to come out and you have to play. And coming off of a long break, our mindset and our mental approach it has to be elite and championship level out the gate because we are playing championship level opponents starting our conference playoff, right? And it's going to be a big test. Where are we within our conference against the tops? And it's going to be a huge test going on the road to do that. And with South Dakota State just playing Texas the other night, and what all four of those teams have done, throughout non-con, it's going to be a big test for us.
And what kind of edge do you think a tough start to conference play gives your team? Because you don't necessarily want to ease into conference play. And I don't think anybody does, but facing some of the best right off the bat can really kind of tell you where you are early on in that quote unquote second season.
Well, and that's what we've been talking about. You got to have a good start, and this can't be more of an example than right now. You have to have a good start, but it's going to show us out the gate where we need to be in March. Where are you right now, and where do you need to be in March to play up against some of the elite coaches, some of the elite programs? And they're not only doing it, within our region, within our conference, they're doing it nationally. And so, where are we in the big picture? And I think it's going to tell us a lot. We're going to grow from this big time, but most importantly, we're going to find out who we are. And that's what we've been talking about. Where are we? Who are we? What's our identity? And we're about to find out. So I hope they are, still working out, still getting some shots up, but also resting and recovering. But it's going to be a big, big test coming back in January.
Well, before we get you out of here, I know other Coach Anderson is in the building. What's up, Wayne? Shout out Wayne Anderson, who's in the building. Good to see him. Any fun Christmas plans for you guys coming up this week?
No, we just want to kind of just rest. I think I just want to sit on the couch, catch up on laundry, kind of go through the kids' clothes. I was just telling Coach Annan's wife that I want to go through the kids' clothes. What's too small, give away to Goodwill, and just kind of slow down a little bit, live a slow life, and enjoy our kids, and watch a few Christmas movies, and just sit on the couch. I mean, I'm just excited to be a mom, and I'll be a stay-at-home mom for the week. So I'm excited about that, and I know it's a lot of work being a stay-at-home mom. So I know that I have to get everything in order and get prepared and prepped for conference play. But that's my goal, just to kind of get organized, get everything in order before we head back into chaos.
You have a go-to Christmas movie?
Oh, whatever the kids want to watch. We normally watch Home Alone. Can't go wrong with that.
Classic.
This Christmas, I like one of my favorites the kids can't watch, so I'll just watch whatever the kids watch. Half the time, to be honest, Connor, if I sit down on the couch and sit still longer than 5 minutes, I'm asleep. So it doesn't matter what movie I'm watching. Fair. So Home Alone's been a good one. And Ari Gordon, she's never seen Home Alone, so we try to watch it on the bus.
She's never seen what?
I know. We tried to watch it on the bus on one of our trips. So Ari, if you're watching, go watch Home Alone, where there's no laughter or craziness going on the bus. I mean,
I haven't seen a lot of movies that I probably should have, but Home Alone is
it's a classic.
That's a classic. Wild.
And 2, you got to watch Home Alone 2 right after that.
Yeah, I think after that you can kind of stray away from it. I don't know if the other ones are really that good.
Yeah, no.
The first 2 for sure.
Yeah.
The second one is when that's the one in New York, right? Okay.
Yeah, we need to stop after the second.
Yeah, the second one is good, and then third and fourth, they usually say sequels aren't good. They were able to nail it with the sequel there, but I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I'm a big Christmas Vacation.
Oh, I love Christmas Vacation.
That is probably my favorite.
That's the one we watch. Though? It's on the edge.
I mean, it probably depends on who you ask.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know what the rating is on it. I think it might be PG-13.
Yeah,
it probably is.
I'm
but
on the edge.
Great movie.
Yeah.
I take pride in my Clark Griswold Blackhawks jersey that I own. So
I love
it's a great movie. Watch it every year. But
what are you doing, Connor?
I'm going back home.
Oh,
you're going back to Chicago.
Home. Good for you.
And it's the coldest day there is going to be 38 degrees.
Oh, you're going to be in your tank top.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah,
because considering 2 weeks ago I was sitting in my apartment watching the Bears, and the kickoff temperature in Chicago was -2.
Oh,
I think.
No, I'm out.
So, I mean, that's a little more on brand for that area that time of year. But
so it's gonna be beautiful when you.
Yeah, we're getting spoiled. Although I am a big, I like it when it's cold and snowy on Christmas.
That's fair.
Like I don't want it snowy to the point where like you can't drive anywhere.
Yeah.
But I don't mind it being cold and snow on the ground on Christmas. But
I know we need you to get back though. So
that's true. Yeah.
So just cold is enough. We don't need the snow.
Yeah, that's true.
We can't live without you, Connor.
Yeah,
come on.
Plus, I'll be back in the childhood home too. So I'd be asked to shovel. And
you got to go to work. No, you don't want to do that.
I don't really want to do
that. Just cold, no
so.
snow.
Yeah, I agree. I'm glad we're on the same page. But
yes.
Coach, as always, thanks so much for the time. Yeah. Great to talk with you, and enjoy the Christmas holiday and the Christmas break. And we won't talk to you next Monday because we won't be back yet. But
the Monday after.
Yes, the Monday after.
Okay.
And
so after the.
We'll see on the 29th.
Oh, okay.
Whatever day that is. I'm still kind of trying to get all that straight. So
Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas to you, and Merry Christmas to all the fans out there. Thanks so much for making us a part of your Monday afternoon. Of course, you can join us tonight at 7 o'clock when the men are in action against UTA as they wrap up their non-con slate. So big thanks to both head coaches. Big thanks to Waldo's Chicken, as always, for having us out. 71st and Yale. Come check them out and get yourself some lunch here on this very gorgeous Monday outside as well. So a big thanks to everybody. We'll talk to you tonight at 7 o'clock from the Mabee Center. This has been episode number 7 of the ORU Basketball Coaches Show.